I'm Jason Klamm, and this is the Comedy on Vinyl podcast. The year is 1968. The album is Hello, Dummy. The artist, Don Rickles. My guest, Jimmy Pardo. Hi, Jimmy Pardo.
Hello, Jason Klamm.
Thank you for having me. It is Klamm.
It's Klamm.
But it's funny when you say Klamm. You know, I'm very forgiving about it when you say it. It's only because you say it with such, fervor.
But in fairness to me and probably everyone in the world,
It looks like Klamm.
yeah. So why would you get mad? You can't get mad at people.
Annoyed.
But again,
Not to strangers. No. Not to a stranger. But if I've told you 10 times and you can't get it right, fuck off.
Well, I apologize then.
It's funny when you do it.
Well, it's not.
I've given you a pass.
It's Klamm. Well, thank you for the pass, but it is Klamm, and we should have some respect.
You should. It means damp.
Klamm does? Mm-hmm. So does Clammy, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't get it.
That was an exciting piece of information. I'm glad everybody now has it.
All right, thank you. 1968.
1968. So,
Yes.
I didn't know what to expect, Jimmy, because I've never heard a Don Rickles album.
Hang on.
What?
I'm going to stop you right there.
Okay, go right ahead.
Several things that I'm confused about.
Sure.
How many episodes of this show have you done?
200, almost 250?
250.
Yeah.
Roughly.
Roughly.
And nobody has chosen Don Rickles?
Isn't that weird to you?
Because I remember the very first time I did it.
Yeah.
I did Richard Lewis.
Yeah.
And I thought that I wanted to do Rickles, and you told me, well, don't, because somebody else might be doing that.
Oh, really? That might have been at a time where I had another guest scheduled who shit out on me. That could be what happened.
Oh.
That's unfair, though, because you would be the guy who should have speak about Rickles first.
I
was probably just trying to be nice.
Maybe I was nice and said maybe leave him for Todd Glass or something. That I was the wrong guy, even though I'm the right guy.
You are the right guy. Like, literally, I'm listening to it, and I'm hearing Jimmy Pardo in it, which is fun.
Before we get to that,
Yeah, okay.
and by what may or may not be thievery, it is not. I then came back on and did Gabe Kaplan's.
Yes, you did.
Because, again, I assumed everybody has done that. So even when you said, hey, you want to do the show again, I said, yeah, let me think of something. You suggested, how about Don Rickles? I said, aren't you Rickled out? I would imagine a million people ask you to do this.
Right.
None.
Mm-hmm. And then I was listening to it today. I'm like, was I lying to Jimmy when I said that? Like, was I somehow misremembering, like the one shitty guest out of 250 I've had? Maybe they picked Rickles and I forgot, And I'm like, but no, I didn't. I've never heard this.
Because you never, and then that fascinates me even more. You've done 200 and something episodes of this.
Yeah.
You're a fan of comedy. You never listened to Don Rickles ever? Or just this?
No, period. Because I've seen him on is the same experience with like Richard Lewis or something. I knew him as a sitcom guy. I know Don Rickles is the fucker sitting next to Johnny and not getting drunk, but just being an a-hole. Like, and I mean that in a nice way.
Of course.
But yeah, that's all I know of.
Really?
Yeah.
That fascinates me.
The first Don Rickles I ever heard on an album was an impression of Don Rickles by Michael McKean, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know. I can't. What album?
Credibility Gap. It's a Credibility Gap album, and the name is escaping me, and everybody's going to hate me for that, but that's fine. But it's a very good Don Rickles. It's a very good Don Rickles.
All I could do is take you at your word.
It's good. Worth listening to.
So you, as a virgin, and I'm only turning the tables here because I want to hear your thoughts. As a virgin, what did you think of this album?
It's really complicated to answer that question.
Why?
I'm a sensitive young boy.
Oh, you are
of
listening
37.
to over 2017 ears.
I can't not.
Yeah.
Now, but the thing is that I say that, and then I'll also tell people, I can go back and listen to like a Marx Brothers, to whom a lot of people, they're like, that's shitty, and it's old, and it's black and white, therefore I have to hate it. I'm very easily can transport my brain into when that's funny, but that's also because there's no immediate like prick of like, nope,
Yeah.
like a Negro, queer, blah, blah, which by the way, you could make those jokes, and because I know you, and I know your work, and I know your podcast, and I know you're a good person.
Yes.
You do charity work. I know that, again, I know a lot of those things about Don Rickles too, but I don't have the level of experience with him personally. So I don't know. Who you are definitely informs your work, Jimmy. But also there are plenty of people who I think laugh at you for the right reasons, and maybe don't know you. They might get it immediately. I don't know.
I don't know the answer to that.
I know. This is too complicated. That's why I didn't know how to answer that question.
I hear what you're saying, but I will tell you this. I have not heard this album in years. I've had the pleasure of seeing Don live several times, which we can get into as time goes on in this conversation. But in re-listening to it today, which, by the way, I listened to it back to back because I forgot how great it is. It is obviously very of the time, even though he was still able to get away with this later in his career because he had the reputation of what he was doing.
Yes.
It did even my ears sometimes go, "Goo!"
Yeah.
Like, even though he's mocking,
Yes,
he
of
is
course.
not a bigot.
Of
He
course.
is not closed-minded. He doesn't think those things. But boy, there is some funny on here.
Yeah.
If you allow yourself to transport to 1968 or even 2008 when it was all acceptable.
Yeah.
It's banana, like you say, queer. Huh? Mexican? Huh?
Right.
Jew?
And he's doing like the lowest of the low version of those jokes.
Yes.
So it's real hard. It's real hard to like, again, to hear it with the right ears.
Yes.
But I had a thought and I forgot it. But yeah, it's
Okay.
it's hard to hear it with modern ears and not immediately just like rear back.
So you didn't? Did you laugh? Because I listened to it
I
twice
did
in a
laugh.
row.
I did laugh, but not that early. It took a while to go, and I know
It's only 38 minutes.
I know it's a short album. That was one thing.
Yes.
Number two, I know and I've heard him do the bit, not the same bit at the end, which I will talk about later because I love it. But like just just kidding, everybody. I love everybody. You know that I've heard it, and I know that that's the guy.
Right.
But I guess because if you don't know what the aesthetic choice is and how he delivers it ahead of time, so again, like I don't know. I just know him from bits and pieces on shows where it's still a toned down version. Like, you know, except for like I think I saw him on Letterman once. The black guy, and he had almost nothing else to say except for look at the black brother saying this. And it's like,
Right.
You know, but I got it. I don't know. It just I'm at a disadvantage, maybe not being able to.
I wonder if you.
There's no hand holding. That's what I was going to say. There's no hand holding, except for like, listen, I'm kidding, and then he'll go, but fuck you. You know, it's
Right.
very much a like, you know, it's a defense mechanism turned into a comedy act,
Yeah.
and I like it.
But
I didn't laugh that much. Doesn't mean I didn't find it funny necessarily, but I didn't laugh.
Oh boy, I laughed at everything. But
Yeah.
know this: I'm a bigot, so I laugh at it for all the wrong reasons.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm mad at the end when he apologizes and explains why he doesn't. I think that's a cop-out. You own your words. No, I think. Listen, here's what I will think, and then we could. But my overall is this. I grew up loving this guy.
Yeah.
I always understood that he was a comedian. Again, it was a different time. I mean, if there's ever a time to say it was a different time, it's this. Even though Lisa Lampanelli does this now, and she's the queen of mean and whatever, and people understand that from her. I will say this: you certainly, you know, after my shows, and you had already alluded to this, that I am very much this guy. I like to give my, Richard Lewis is my hero, and Groucho, and Johnny Carson, and Don Rickles is probably number 4 on my list of influences. In listening to this again, I may be wrong on that number. He is, when you hear this, when I hear it, I hear, boy, do I hear how it influenced me. I hear how it influenced Todd Glass. I hear how it influenced Andy Kindler. I mean, it's there, again, after shows, people always come up to me, and I'm very flattered by it. You know, you're the new Don Rickles. But I don't ever see me as a put-down comic as much as I'm bringing everybody in and mocking.
Yeah.
But I still accept the Don Rickles comparison because it's an easy way to say, oh, you do crowd work.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I don't ever say, look at the black guy. Hey, look at you. Look at this. Look at that. Yeah, Jew. Huh? Polak. I would never do that. You know, look at this broad. I wouldn't say unless I'm throwing it in quotes.
Of course. Yeah.
And I'm comfortable enough knowing the audience could do that. But in hearing this, it is the rhythm. Sometimes I know that I've used this rhythm.
Okay. Yeah. I can see that.
And even on here where he says it's not a rally, lady. I know that when somebody throws their arm up and supports me, I go, put your arm down, it's not a rally, which makes sense because they're doing a Norma Ray sort of thing.
Sure.
at the same time, it's like, geez, am I just taking that right from here? So it's fascinating to me.
Yeah.
It was fascinating to revisit this. And once again, because I listened to it twice, and I only bring that up for the third time because I laughed both times, which makes up for you not laughing at all.
Yeah, no, it absolutely does. And I did laugh, though. But I did laugh. It just took a bit. It took because I didn't... This is sad. I think I need a thesis ahead of time. It's pathetic. It's like I feel like I need to know who I would have...
But you know
But I
he's a
did know who he
comedian.
is. Yes, of course. There is that thing. There is the... I've signed on to see a comedian. That is absolutely an agreement people can make. I'm okay with people being sensitive to shit comedians and bad comedy because there's plenty of it out there. There's somebody I would really like to call out right now, but I will not call out by name.
I wish. Will you at least write it down?
I'll write it down. I mean, here's the thing: people know who I'm saying. If and I apologize if he's a friend.
I do not know who you're speaking of.
Okay, and it's one bit. It's one bit that will make me never listen to or watch him again unless he did a whole lot of
hard pass.
Real
hard pass.
Yeah, you get it. Yeah, and it doesn't work.
No,
it doesn't work. You know what I'm saying?
I know that's not fair that we're doing this to the listener right now.
It's fine. I've probably shit on him on other podcasts. I'm certain I have by name. It's because I just.
Well, I don't know who that is then.
Okay, good.
I don't.
It's yeah. There's got to be art to it. And the thing, again, like I said, you're signed on for it. But also, like, if it's a contract, that comedian's got to fucking deliver. And if everybody's liking your bullshit, and again, laughing for the wrong reasons, and that's your audience, and they're paying for you, I guess, good for you. Great. More power to you.
But you hear the response he's getting.
Absolutely,
you hear that everybody's on board.
That's what slowly signed me on, though.
Okay.
That's what took me a while to get there.
How long did it... Again, it's 38 minutes.
God, I think it's by the time he brings the guys up to stage.
Now, let me ask you about that.
Yeah.
Because what I love about that is more him yelling at them for not being in the right place.
Amazing. That's fantastic.
Like, get over here, you're an Indian.
Yeah.
Like, that stuff was like, why? The guy doesn't know he's an Indian other than the fact that you just told him you're going to play an Indian. He doesn't really think he's an Indian. Like, that stuff was funny to me.
Yeah.
I have seen that bit live several times.
Really? Okay, so it's something that stayed with the act.
Yes.
Holy shit. That's
and in going to see Don Rickles and to use your words, to sign that contract of I understand what I'm seeing, that was the only 5 minutes that I was really uncomfortable with.
Really?
Because it's such a stereotype of Indian, and there was a time that when... it's not on the album, but he also adds a Chinese guy into the mix.
Okay.
And it's Charlie Chan.
Of course it is.
Offensive.
Of course it is.
It's Mr. Magoo offensive. And so that part was really, even though, again, I know what I'm going to see Don Rickles for, it's like, oh, Don, this isn't even clever anymore. You're just going, oh, ching, chang, ching.
Yeah.
And that's a little jarring.
Which is why the only thing that was pulling me out of it was his acting.
Yes.
You know, and his interaction with these two guys who didn't know what the fuck was going on.
Which I loved.
Yeah.
And he still does that. Well, not he's passed away, of course. But even in later day, when he would bring these two people up, he would still do that, get over here, you pain in the ass. And he would grab them and he would do, all things that I think I was more influenced by him that I'm giving credit for because I love the manhandling. I love the chatter. I love the nonsense.
Yeah.
It's great. And I'm mad at you for not understanding how great this is.
I appreciate it, Jimmy.
It's genius.
It's very good.
It's
very good.
It's more than very good.
Okay.
It's genius.
Okay.
Now I have a question for you completely off topic.
Okay.
Are you doing something different with your hair or have you lost weight? Because you
I've
look 20 years younger than the last time I saw you.
Okay. I don't know what that is. I don't know. I need to trim this hair. This is very long. This is 80s hair, and I cannot handle this much longer.
It doesn't. First of all, it does not look like 80s hair.
Well, it's because there's very little bit left.
You look somehow younger.
Okay, I don't know.
So whatever you're doing,
could be the weed. I don't know.
I don't know anything about your personal life.
I don't either.
I keep my temple clean.
That's
I don't either.
Okay. You know, I wasn't going to do this at the beginning.
Do your show.
No, but I wasn't going to do this at the beginning. I had James Urbaniak on a couple months ago, and I've been waiting to do this to any guest, and he's been on like 6 times. He's a great guest, wonderful guest. But he brought up a Martin Mull album. We were talking about Martin Mull earlier for certain reasons. And I opened the podcast with, okay, say your piece. Justify this album to me, because I hated it. Absolutely hated this.
Which Martin Mull album was?
I don't know, might have been the first one. They're all basically the same album. But I didn't enjoy it. James, however, made a wonderful argument for it. So I 100% saw his point. So by the end of it, I'm like, I'm not on your side, but I get where you're coming from, and I respect your love of this album. And that's fun. And like, he made some good points where I was completely off base in the way I was judging it. So I'm not necessarily asking you to... I'm going to ask you to justify the word genius, though. I don't normally do that, but you're a smart man.
I'm going to say
yes. Hit me with it.
Despise the word genius. Mm-hmm. I think in this show business that we are both near, it is thrown around way too freely. Mm-hmm. But I think somebody like Don Rickles on this album, and there's other times where I've seen Don where he's not a genius.
Yeah.
And that he's resting on his laurels, or he's just going to the golf bag and pulling out the same clubs.
Sure.
Which, again, as comedians, we're all guilty of.
Of course.
But on this album, he is fast. Mm-hmm. He is, his mind is working faster than my ability to say the sentence.
Right.
It is. So in that regard, I think, again, I hate to keep bringing it back to me, but because I do so much of this in my act, and I always describe what I do as savant-like, because I am never quicker than I am on that time on stage. Sure. My brain is working faster, and I'm able to think of things that I would never think of if I'm just waiting in line at the post office. Yeah. And that's what I hear. I hear this man's brain working. Hey, there's a tall broad, and hey, if I'm the rube at a Jimmy Pardo show that thinks every show is different, even though there's a lot of the same. If he did the exact same set at the 7 o'clock show that he did at this 10 o'clock show, then I admit that I'm fooled by the magic trick.
Sure.
But for him to, hey, look at the tall broad, give her a basketball, let her dribble around for a half an hour. Mm-hmm. To me, like the word choices.
Yeah.
Let her, not just give her a basketball, let her dribble around. Let her dribble around for a half an hour.
Sure.
Wonderful to me.
I get that.
So justified genius is like asking me to explain why do I like peanut butter.
Okay.
Which I may or may not like.
You like? Okay.
Yeah, I don't.
God damn it.
It's
But we can start there. That's a really good place. I mean, the word choice is great. I mean, and to have that, again, whether it's off the top of your head, 100% doesn't matter. If you deliver it like it is, that speed does seem to betray improv. Like, it just does seem like, it must have been off the top of his head. He said it so fast. Like,
well, and there are times, to speak to that, there are times on this record where you hear him going to his, go-tos. Mm-hmm. Where it's, hey, look at the black guy. Is he laughing? Mm-hmm. Is he, I'm a Jewish man. Anybody coming at me?
Yeah.
Those are the ones where you almost hear it on the page. Uh-huh. But there's the ones, like I say, or when he says about the guy, he goes out a tall broad like this. They always marry dwarfs, don't they? She's 5'10", he's walking around. I got rickets. It makes no sense whatsoever.
Nope.
But I love it. I loved that that's what he chose to say. Mm-hmm. He went with it. Mm-hmm. The rhythm, Gloria Estefan style, got me.
Yeah. Yeah.
She warned me the rhythm was going to get me. His rhythm gets me. I know I'm not articulating what you want.
It does. No, there's nothing I want.
I guess it's the speed of what I perceive to be legit improv. Mm-hmm. Again, maybe at the 7 o'clock show, it was the exact same jokes. Mm-hmm. I do find the editing on this very strange.
Yes, it is. Like, I hate that. Like, here's a growing laugh. Cut to the next joke.
And a reference to a guy that we didn't hear about.
Yes.
Like, Henry, you're a this and I'm a this. Like, we didn't learn about Henry. So that,
it's a little weird.
Like, I would never allow that on one of my CDs. But
I'm trying to see who released this. The only reason
it's Warner Brothers, isn't it?
It is Warner Brothers. See, that's what throws me. See, if that's the case, yeah. Why is that? Just because, again, I know he was big at this point. He's in Vegas, for fuck's sake. But if you hear some of the shittier albums of the time, like if you listen, and I mean shitty in terms of quality, like if you listen to like a Bell Barth or something, they're cut worse than this, but about as bad. Like, so it's so weird that it's just the standards of cutting an album were just
different.
Yeah.
Now, is it because of it's the track? Is that where it's happening? Is it?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Track 1, and then there's a weird edit.
I guess
track
it's possible, or they just like the rest is just superfluous. It won't fit on this. No, but it's a short album.
It's
so what am I
38
saying?
minutes.
Yeah. So I don't.
Although that was at the time, wasn't that the normal, like 25 minutes aside? So I guess you could have gone to 50.
Yeah, it could have been. Yeah, it's just very weird to me. The cuts are strange for such a big album. But
let me ask you a couple questions.
Yes, sir.
As a guy that I hopefully did more research than I did.
A little bit. Not a lot.
Was this edited together from different shows, or is it
that is
one
something
show?
I didn't see. That's a very good question, because I mean, one assumes, because what Newhart's first album was only cut together from like 2 shows or something. Saw him live recently, by the way. Side note.
And
it was fun. No, there's a lot to parse when you see a Bob Newhart now, as opposed to seeing. And the only reason I just kept thinking of this because Bob Newhart now is closer to Don Rickles than he is to Bob Newhart that you're used to.
What he's doing?
At least
hey,
doing
look
a
at
lot
guys
of
in the red shirts.
No, he's doing a lot more of the street jokes about ethnicities.
Is he really?
Yes. And that shocked me, and he's doing it for a California audience. Obviously, I'm there, so he's doing it for a California audience who's like, so, there are 10 groaners in that, and he's just like, what? He's just laughing it off because he's rich and Bob Newhart, but
wow.
It threw me the fuck off.
Me too.
Big time.
Were you disappointed by that?
I was... Okay, yeah. I mean, and it doesn't have to be him doing a phone bit, which he did one phone bit. It's just like, hey, everybody, I'm breaking out a phone bit, which means, hey, I get to sit for 15 minutes. And it was fine. It was great. Except, of course, the one he does is the one that's the most sexist of all the ones that he ever did. It's the driver one.
Yeah,
it's the driver one. And, it's a good bit if you make that anybody else. It doesn't have to be a woman driver, quote, unquote.
But at the time, it did. Did it?
No. But... and like I said, they're just more than you expect. In my head, it's like 30 minutes of ethnic jokes, and it was probably only 5 short ones.
Right.
That's it. 5 short ones was the best joke he did. I'll just leave it at that. It was about the Vietnamese. That's not true.
I don't even understand why he would do that.
Yeah, I don't. He did do a joke about the Vietnamese, and I can't remember what the joke was. But yeah, but it's weird, right? That Bob Newhart. Anyway. He was still funny. The rest of it was funny. He's doing some impressions that were spot on.
Were they?
Yeah, they were really good. And I'm like, and that was like the time he came alive was when he was doing certain jokes, and the rest of it, he, not quite Groucho in his last album, but, slow. He's an old man, Jimmy.
Groucho's very slow on his last.
Oh, my good God.
Now, when I met talking about Chico, now Chico, we called him Chico because he was a chicken chaser. And we called ladies chickens at the time, and he would chase the ladies, so we called him Chico and chicken chaser. Yes, Groucho, pick it up. It's Carnegie Hall.
Maybe this is the album I want to do. I want to get a number of comics redoing Groucho's bits from that album. You, Gilbert Gottfried, who, by the way, I cannot be topped in his Groucho impression.
Oh, my God.
Phenomenal.
When I saw Gilbert Gottfried, then I also have a very quick Bob Newhart story.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw Gilbert Gottfried at a place called George's, which no longer exists in Chicago, the first time I saw him twice. He came back way too soon. And I went to see him both times, like within 3 months of each other, and that was too soon. But he did a stupid thing where he was just tearing off masking tape and putting it on his face, and then he went into a Groucho impression, and it was spot on and hysterical. That's it. That's my story.
No, that's amazing.
It was a great show.
I didn't know until just a few years ago too that the impressions were part of it. Because the only thing I remembered from, I think I've done this bit before, I've repeated this bit before, was just a joke about Hitler that he did years ago, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's one of the funniest things I've ever fucking seen. And then to know that he just also has this massive skill and this like encyclopedic knowledge of Hollywood kind of weirds me out.
He is, and he's done your program?
No. The gentleman who directed the documentary about his life is, though, soon, and so maybe I'll get Gilbert.
There we go. We'll get the crossover. That's not the right word.
It's all right.
So Bob Newhart came on the Tonight Show with Conan O'Brien.
Yes, right.
When I used to work over for Conan, and then way back when it was the Tonight Show. And it was like, well, I kind of the same when I had to meet Tom Hanks for the first time, who I ended up then doing improv with, which was very, very nice.
Fuck. Okay.
But I met Tom Hanks, and I was like, I'm not going to let this job go by where I don't get to be. I'm a wall away from one of my heroes. I'm going to meet Tom Hanks. I felt the same as with Bob Newhart. When Bob Newhart came out, I was like, okay, I've only asked so far for Tom Hanks. I will now ask for Bob Newhart. I have to meet him. So I walk into his dressing room, And I don't know what came over me to do this, but in the dressing room was Frank Smiley, who was the segment producer. Bob Newhart was getting out of the makeup chair to come over to say hello to me. And his publicist or assistant, whoever she was, just happened to be standing right there. And the Frank Smiley said, Jimmy Pardo, Bob Newhart. And the woman was closer to me, and I said, hello, Bob. And I shook her hand. And I said, boy, I got to tell you something. You look much different in person than you do. And nobody was laughing harder than Bob Newhart.
Yay,
he got what I was doing, which, by the way, isn't genius.
It doesn't matter.
I know you don't care for that word, but it was, and I don't know why I felt comfortable enough to do that, but then I just kept it going. And she just kept staring at me like, why is he still doing with this? Well, I was still going because Bob Newhart is either being the nicest man in the world or genuinely finds it funny, and I'm going to take this.
Absolutely.
And then I turned and she finally caught on and went, but I'm not him. And I, and then turned and went, Mr. Newhart, and then repeated exactly what I just said to her, and he loved it.
That's solid.
And it was great. It was like two comics talking, and it was the best.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's my Bob Newhart story.
I can tell you that actually is a perfect demonstration of what you're talking about here. You could repeat a bit, but if you have the skill and talent to commit to it that hard, though, you're going to get a laugh out of Bob Newhart. It's the same fucking shit. Like if you're, again, it's just commitment. It's sheer commitment. Loving what you're doing.
And I don't know why I did.
I don't either, know why. I'm so happy you did.
I felt but it felt great. It felt good. And then he was very nice, very generous with his time. And by all accounts, everybody else tells me he's a very nice man, other than the 4 minutes I spent with him. So that was great. And of course, as people always need to point out, he was Don Rickles' best friend. You wouldn't expect it. Why? A couple comics.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, their acts are different. That doesn't mean they can't hang out together.
Yeah. It did shock me a little to find out his favorite comic was Richard Pryor. That did weird me out a little bit.
Bob Newhart's favorite is Richard Pryor.
According to his son.
His son told you that?
His son told me that.
Privately?
Yeah. Well, on the podcast.
Privately. You had Bob Newhart's son on. So
for a specific reason, not just because he's son of a famous person.
Why'd you have him on?
He played Bob Newhart for 10 seconds in a Robert Downey Jr. movie called Heart and Souls. And I'm like, that's kind of fun. I don't know anybody who's ever played their own dad in a movie. So I thought that was kind of cool. And so we talked about just growing up with dad. Weird comic dad. And then he sent me a photo of his dad and Don Rickles and like 30 people from the 70s that you would shit yourself if you're in the same room with.
Could you imagine? I can't.
Yeah, no, I can't. Because he knew everybody. And it's phenomenal.
I'm looking forward to Paul Reiser's new Hulu show coming out called There's Johnny.
Oh, yeah. So that's the one that's actually about The Tonight Show.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm looking forward to that for that reason. Like that's the era that I loved. Although I loved 80s comedy too, obviously.
Sure.
But, that 70s Johnny Carson vibe, which is why when Rickles would come on The Tonight Show, there was nothing better. My nose is itching. I apologize.
You're absolutely fine.
So as years went by, I was, and being compared to Don Rickles, I had never seen him. And my wife was like, we have to change that. Yeah. You have to see Don Rickles. So he was working out, he was doing a show in Palm Springs. And so my wife and I drove out to Palm Springs, and I bought tickets early, so we're in the second row and on the aisle, because I'm a nut bar and I have to sit on the aisle because I have claustrophobic issues and I'm out of my skull.
I get you.
We're second row on the aisle. So there's the few things that I like to talk about on seeing this my first time. First of all, it's a converted banquet room.
Okay.
They didn't even have a theater yet at this casino. So he's basically doing what I've done my whole career of these one-nighters in hotels in small towns.
Yeah.
And here's my hero, one of my heroes, doing the same. Like,
that's amazing.
As Danielle and I walked in, it was like, this is just a banquet room. And it was like a stage, like one of those, like they took the stage down and put the buffet up the next day. That's how weird the room was. So he comes out and he opens up with it. I'm Mr. Nice Guy, whatever. That tune wasn't so wrong, but he sings that, and he's got the full orchestra, and he's got his band leader, who's his foil, and then he keeps talking about how I was at the Agua Caliente Casino. He's like, Agua Caliente, I've lived my whole life. I wanted to work Agua Caliente, and the woman behind me, and Danielle, my beautiful wife, keeps going, yeah, right. It's like, and then he would say, what was the other thing that he would say? Doubt it. And she was just like, And Danielle and I are looking at each other like, she isn't going to have the longest night of her life if she doesn't understand that obvious sarcasm. And like I even go, well, looks like they rolled out the red carpet for me here, huh? What is this, a converted closet? No.
Oh,
like, oh, you dummy!
Oh my God,
she didn't get it at all.
Holy
and she's
shit.
sitting behind, and I would try to turn around to see what she looked like because I wanted to have a visual image of the dumbest woman on the planet. So
Holy
she
cow.
doesn't get it. So we're enjoying her not getting him being hysterical, and he's being. This is. Well, it's got to be 15 years ago. I mean, it's got to be. So he still was moving around a lot. He was still dancing, and he would still, his show got a little Vegas-y as he got older. And he did a James Cagney impression for. I'll say it. I know some Don Rickles fanatics will get mad at me for way too long. For way too long. I'm a Yankee Doodle thing, and he's doing that for way too long. And I'm mad that he's doing that for way too long because I want him to do more crowd work.
Sure.
And so what he ended up doing later in his career, or maybe he did it earlier and it just wasn't on the albums, is he would find a woman in the audience and then kick that, what's your name, so-and-so, who's this? Oh, that's my husband. And then he would kick the husband out of the room so that he could, quote-unquote, put the moves on the wife. So Danielle and I are sitting there. We're in the second row, and he comes down and he says to me, what's your name? And I have been in comedy long enough to not try to be funny, be the prop. And he goes, and I said, Jim. And he said, who's that with you there, Jim? And I go, that's my beautiful wife. And he looks at me and goes, I've been waiting. He goes, well, he said something. I forget what he says. And he goes, get out of here, Jim. And he kicks me out. I'm the guy that he kicks out. So I kind of hem and haw. I'm not doing shtick. And he goes, I told you to get out of here. So then I walk up the aisle, and everybody's looking at me like they can't believe I'm playing along. And then he turns to her and goes, I've been waiting for him to leave all night long. Oh my God, this is our time together. And Danielle, of course, has been in show business long enough to also understand we're props. Don't outshtick him. So Danielle's being that prop, and so I think he's done. And I'm sincere when I said it. I think he's done doing that. So I come back down the aisle, and he turns around and goes, I thought I told you to leave, Jim. And it was, but in that Don Rickles over the top wonderful way, place goes. I'm like, oh my apologies. And then I go back and then he finishes whatever the bit is, and then he goes back on stage. All right, Jim, you can come back in, and I come back in, and give him a nice hand. What a great couple, and blah blah blah. And it's like, not only did I go see Don Rickles, I got Rickled.
Yeah.
I got to be and again, I keep bringing it back to me. When my fans come to see me now, they want to sit in the front row. They want to be the guy whose name is mispronounced. They want to be the guy, who I weirdly put my hand on their shoulder and ask them if it's getting weird. Like I've got my tropes, and they all say, oh, it was so great. I got pardoed. And I call it Rickled because it was like I got to go see Don Rickles. And I got to be made fun of, and I got my wife was hit on by Don. Like everything, it could not have been better.
Yeah.
And then the Cagney impression came.
Right.
But it was great. It was phenomenal, and he was hysterical, and it was it was just everything I had hoped for. I then went to see him maybe 5 years ago, and he was now seated in a chair. And they would open the curtain. Please welcome Mr. Warmth, Don Rickles. And the curtain would open, and he's already there.
Yeah.
Because now he can't walk.
Of course.
And I apologize. There was a time in between where he was an old man because we saw him backstage. I did not meet him. And he's shuffling around and needs to be escorted around backstage. But then when it was showtime, he was on.
Holy shit.
And it was like his body forgot that it was 80-something years old.
Amazing.
And he was on fire. And he said, again, I've seen every clip on television of his. And maybe I missed this one, but this was new to me. He saw a woman, an Asian woman, and said, oh, look at you. What's your name? Hot Soup? And I thought it was, because I'd never heard him say it before. Hot soup? Are you kidding me? And I went crazy. My buddy Pat was with me, and we couldn't believe that he said hot soup. We then, backstage after the show, again, I didn't get a chance to meet him, and he's back to being the feeble old man. And it was bizarre to watch that. Show's over. Now he's back to, shaking a little bit, maybe, and again, needing to be escorted. Then I saw him one last time before he passed away, where he was, again, sitting in the chair and still bringing the people up to do that cowboy and Indian thing, and just uncomfortable now. And, when you're doing crowd work from a chair, it didn't, still we're seeing a legend, and good for him for still wanting to do it at 90 or however old he was. Honored that I had a chance to see him perform.
Of course.
I got to meet him once on an airplane. And I happened to be lucky enough, I got bumped up to first class, and I'm walking on the plane. I'm like, holy shit, that's Don Rickles. And honestly, it ruined my flight because all I could do is like, how do I talk to one of my heroes without being without being that guy?
Yep.
And so
start a podcast.
What's that?
Start a podcast.
That's
the answer. Sorry.
So it went from Chicago to L.A. It ruined 4 hours for me because all I'm thinking,
my God,
what do I say to him? I want to tell him I'm a comedian, but I don't want to seem needy. I don't want to bother him. What do I say? Meanwhile, so it's driving me nuts to be respectful. Meanwhile, every a-hole on the plane is coming over and bothering him.
Of course.
Everybody. And he is being gracious, and he's putting his arm around everybody and taking photos.
Oh, my God.
Couldn't have been nicer. But again, I'm still like in my head going, well, you don't want to be one of them. You're not one of them. You're not a peer, but you're in the same business.
Sure.
So I get off the plane. He gets off, and his assistant is grabbing the overhead luggage, and I happen to walk past him. And I said, Mr. Rickles, I got to tell you, I said, I sat behind you the whole flight. I didn't want to bother you. I said, but I'm a comedian. My name is Jimmy Pardo, and you are one of my influences. In fact, people seem to think that I'm the next you, and it's just an honor. And I got teary eyed, and he just went, well, good luck to you in your career, young man. Good, not dismissive.
Yeah.
Very genuine, very warm, and several times when I've met my heroes, I'm 2 feet away from them, and I regret everything I've said.
Yeah.
I regret what I didn't say. I want them to like me, even though there's no reason for them to. I've just said hello. I want to be best friends with them, yet I don't want to do any of that.
Yeah.
And I walked away from him, and I was like, that's exactly how that should have gone.
Absolutely.
That was perfect. I didn't stutter. I didn't mumble. He was generous and gracious. Not interested, but he faked it very well.
Of course.
And and so, I'm lucky that I got to meet him and to have been able to see him live several times.
That's so good.
That said, this album is genius. There I go. Did I make
fine.
my case?
Yeah, I think you did. You're just making me think that I wonder how big that room was, number one.
The room of this album.
Yeah. How does it sound to you? You've got more experience with this than I do.
Boy, that's a great question. Is it
because I can never tell.
Maybe a 300 seat?
All right. I love that you have a good estimate. I love that. I love that you have an estimate of how big it might be.
Well, you know which one fascinates me is like as a kid you don't realize this, but when you hear Steve Martin's "Let's Get Small,"
yeah.
That's 80 seats.
Yeah, that's fucking.
And
weird.
he's the biggest comic in the world, but he recorded it before he was. Obviously, you know the history of that.
But
it's so. This was a time in Vegas where Sonny and Cher were performing in the lounge.
Right.
So the lounges were. They had to be 300. That's my guess.
Okay.
That's again a guess.
Yeah. That's good. But of those 300 people, there's probably maybe one lady who's saying no. That lady who doesn't get it, and then there's just a ton of you in that room. I think. Right?
I think so.
Maybe less experienced, except for that one asshole who's on stage and making some okay asides, which you shouldn't be doing, but they're not bad.
You know what? And in listening to that, I agree 100% with what you just said. I admire Don for letting that stay on the album.
Yeah.
Because that guy gets some good laughs.
He does.
And Don is gracious enough to let this stranger, again, have a story for the rest of his life.
Absolutely.
Hey, I'm on the Don Rickles album.
Right. I want to know who
yes,
that guy
Uncle
is.
Bill, we know that. But he let it stay in. There's one time where the guy gets a huge laugh at Don's, the Nazi line, the Klan joke. And Charlie is his name. And he goes, well, you got to be that tall to be to get in the Klan. And Don lets the laugh happen.
Yep.
Leaves it on the album. There's obviously, there's edits. He could have cut that out.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to let this guy get the best of me on my own album.
Right.
But I think, we're not there. So Rickles must have obviously seen his face, seen that he was not trying to Bigfoot him, not trying to, my wife's, like most hecklers or most people trying to get one over on the comedian.
Sure.
That person's wife or friends are laughing too hard and they want to show their wife that I'm the man here.
Yeah.
He must have seen the face to go, well, that's not what this guy's doing. This guy's just genuinely having a good time. And fascinating to me.
It's bits like that, again, it's like I said, for me, it's just a slow burn. The whole album's a slow burn because, again, I know what he's doing, but I can't get around how bad some of the shit sounds, and I'm just going to be uncomfortable with it. I could listen to this again, and I probably will. I'm going to be uncomfortable again next time until it gets to that point. It's nothing against him, but the thing is, and I waited to bring this up, I started to tear up at the end of it. So
it's hard not to.
Yeah, it's the most fucking sincere thing.
Yes,
that this, and I say this in quotes, this a-hole is doing. You know what I mean? Like and I love it, and it's beautiful, and it is the way to wrap that up if you're going to do that. If you don't trust me to get it, so it's on there. It's on there for people like me. Who? What if you're at the party, you're listening to this, and you are the one sensitive person in 1968,
right?
And at the end you're like, oh, what a nice guy.
Yeah.
So I'm the dipshit who has to, even though I know better.
Yeah.
But my shields are always up. It's just how it goes.
We live in a time where they have to be. But I'm bringing it back to me only because of my comparison to this guy. Early in my set, I say I lash out at you because I hate myself, and then I do some self-deprecating jokes to diffuse the idea that I'm making fun of this guy. But again, I never feel like maybe I'm completely delusional, but I never feel like I'm making fun of somebody.
It doesn't come across.
It doesn't,
that
right?
way.
But I worry for the three people that are like, this guy's just a dick.
Right.
I diffuse it by saying I do that because of this. But lately, I will tell you, Jason, I said to my wife that because my show has, even though it's always been considered to be mostly improvised, it's really that these days. That I almost feel like I need to do some sort of thing at the end to, look, we've all had some fun in here tonight. Like almost, not a disclaimer.
Sure.
But I'd almost like, I obviously I don't hate this man. Obviously I don't want this person to die. Everything I've said has been a joke. And she looked at me like I was out of it. So I said, so I'm thinking that maybe I should start doing that at the end. And she went, are you out of your mind? She goes, they get it. You don't need to walk them through it.
Yeah.
And, but I kind of felt like maybe I just come off a show or two where I felt like maybe somebody left feeling like, so why did I sit in the front row to be this guy's prop?
Yeah. I get both your points on that.
Honestly. Yeah, right?
I get it. Again, there's everybody signs a contract when they're in there. But maybe I'm wrong, and I'm definitely biased because I definitely love watching you live. But although I say that and I've only seen you do stand-up once, I've seen you do a ton of podcasts.
Yeah, but
there are so many context clues that I feel like it would take a lot of work to not get it. Again, maybe I'm wrong. And feel free to write Jimmy about that. Tell me if I'm wrong.
I 100% agree with you, but I know when I look at somebody's eyes, I know this guy's not enjoying this. And so I get away from that guy immediately. And I very rarely will do any crowd work with a woman because I don't want anybody to perceive it that, he's putting women down.
I see. Okay.
It's generally punching up where it's like, oh my God, look how handsome this guy is, and it's that, or look at the muscles on this guy, like we'll get you back to doing your sit-ups and crunches, and what's my point? Oh, so I must have come off. I wonder if it was when you happened to see me at Flappers recently, where I wondered maybe if somebody walked past and maybe had a look on their face like they did not enjoy, because I disagree with you about this contract thing. The one thing I will say is, if somebody leaves and they're not like, hey, that guy, all that guy did was make fun of me. It's like they didn't sign up for that.
Sure.
They didn't sign up
if they don't know you, for sure there's no contract. I'll agree. I absolutely agree. And that's the situations where you've got people who are complaining that people are being way too PC rather than realizing they should know their audience a little bit better. I would argue. I don't think people are that PC. You can argue with me on that if you want. But I don't think people are as PC as people make it out to be, because If you said that, the only reason I would call bullshit is because you're one of the most sensitive comedians that's out there. That's the only reason I would call bullshit if you said people are too PC. I love that I'm challenging you to censor yourself. This is the best irony.
I don't think I will. I am a guy who 100% agrees with Jerry Seinfeld and those other fellows that said that colleges are too PC.
Okay.
And then the argument of how would Jerry know he doesn't do colleges anymore doesn't matter. They are. And you can't take any risks at colleges.
Okay.
And I don't do them anymore for that reason. I got tired of being stared at because I was being, quote unquote, too edgy.
Okay.
And now one could argue, know your audience. Well, I thought I did. Okay. Because colleges were where Robert Klein and George Carlin would go there because those were the great minds.
Sure.
We talked about that with Kaplan last time. I think Kaplan was talking about that might have been recorded at a college or something.
Yeah.
At any rate, I don't think comedy club audiences are too PC.
Okay.
I think people understand we're going to a comedy club, and you might get one person or something that'll come up and go, I didn't appreciate when you did. It's like, okay, but you were okay with everything else?
Right.
But the one thing that you felt, like, when you made the joke about people having a mullet, well, maybe that's how he likes it. Well, no shit. But you're okay with 9/11 jokes? That part that doesn't affect your life.
Right.
But because your cousin has a mullet, you're mad at me.
Yeah.
So, but I overall do not think comedy club goers are too PC.
But colleges.
Look.
I'm asking you to generalize.
I will say this.
I'm kidding.
I do think there is a certain demographic that is too sensitive. And specifically, and I'll say, I think 20-something white kids are too sensitive.
Okay.
And they were coddled, and they were taught to, everybody gets, I know I'm being an old man cliche, everybody gets a trophy, nobody gets their feelings hurt. And then they come to a comedy club, and anything that comes close to being offensive, whether it is or isn't, it's like none of those responses are appropriate because it's an effing joke.
Sure. Isn't that a challenge, though? Or is it not a fun challenge for you?
I find it annoying. And I'm with you. Like, if you're going to a comedy club, you've signed a contract, you're going out of your way to be offended.
Is the problem then, because you said the contract thing is sometimes true if you know the comedian, I think is what we've established. If you don't know, so you're basically in a room of people who haven't signed the contract is what you're saying, if it's a college, possibly.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, but again, I have not done a college in ages.
Sure.
Because I was experiencing this of everybody taking everything at face value. And look, they're 18 years old. Most kids that go to a college show are, at least when I did them, were the freshmen that didn't have friends yet.
Yeah.
So, good, I get to go and watch comedy for 2 hours.
Sure.
But they're 18 and they're scared of life, and unless they're the hip comedy people, and there was always that pocket of people for me. They would be like, "You're the funniest guy in the world," but more often than not, it was like, "You're a little offended by some of that." Yeah. It's like, well, then you're stupid.
See, I was both. That would have been me. If I'd have seen you when I was 20, I don't know that I'd be a fan now. But again, so I will agree with parts of your assessment.
I will tell you this.
Yes, Jimmy Pardo.
In what I do, there is a comic who I will not name, and he's a great comic.
Okay.
That after seeing me for years, came up to me and went, I finally get it. I have to admit, when I was younger, I just thought you were a dick.
Yeah.
And now I see what you're doing. And it's like, in my head, I was like, how are you ever a comedian? What made you get into this business?
Right.
But if you're young, you may not understand that it's done with a wink.
Sure. I also think there's the argument to be made that the painting's not hung in a museum to just walk by it. You need to stare at it for a while and get the whole picture of what's going on. If you don't, you're going to miss out.
Perfect. Get me to the snack shop, because I don't want to see the paintings, because that's boring. That's my take on museums.
Yeah, that's good. No,
I
love good.
Museums. No, I love your analogy. I love it. I don't know why I had to shit on it.
No, it's fine. It was good. The shitting was fun. Nobody's ever said the shitting was fun, and I'm really fucking grossed out by what I just said. I feel like I should leave the room right now. Here's a weird proposal.
Go.
This is not I don't think it's a good idea, but I want to know what happened. Maybe there's comics who do this, and maybe I'm not aware of it. Who does the fucking thing up front? Can you come in with a caveat up front and say, "Hey, I'm gonna have some fun with you assholes, and I don't mean anything I say." That's too much, right?
I don't think you can.
Right? There's no way to front load your sincerity or your heart.
Not the sincerity. I do it in a yelling way. Like, this is what I do. I talk off the top of my head. Either you like it, or if you don't.
Yeah.
Hopefully more articulate than I just said it.
Sure.
Articulately. But I don't think you can.
Right.
I don't think you can.
Yeah.
I think you either your audience knows what they're going to see, or you run the risk of 6 people walking out and going, "Didn't come to have this guy yell at us," or this woman. Maybe.
Right.
I'm sure Lisa Lampanelli dealt with it all the time before she became famous.
Yeah.
Because she's doing what Don did. There's my queer, there's the gay. Look at the black guy. He's over here with his big dick in his hand. And I'm sure people are like, "Why is she saying that?" and leaving angrily.
Right.
She then eventually sells out arenas. She's doing fine.
Sure. There is the argument, and we could spend another half an hour or an hour on this, of saying that maybe some of the people who are not doing so well at colleges aren't doing their shit artfully enough to get the point across. But again, I don't know. I want to see you do a college. You would be a good test just for the sake of just, does Jimmy Pardo translate better than other people? Only because I know you. Only because I know your art. I don't know. It's hard to say. Because I know Paul F. Tompkins could do a college. I know he could do it. Because I know how he's uber sensitive like I am. He will adapt in that different way. You do 2 totally different acts. But
yeah,
I don't know. It'd be an interesting experiment. I'm not saying spend your money to do it. I'm saying if there's a college out there,
no,
call Jimmy up.
You're going to hear no. You're going to hear no, thank you. No matter how much money you're offering me, I'm going to pass.
All right. I respect your
I'm going
stubbornness.
To pass. It's am I stubborn or am I realistic in that
you could be both.
I'm of a certain age and not famous enough for an 18 or 19-year-old who doesn't really want to be at a comedy show. They're doing it just because there's nothing else to do.
I get that, sure.
Why do I want to put myself in that position?
I also get that. I completely understand.
Now, the 18, 19-year-old that comes to see me at a comedy club, they're
different.
coming because they want to. So I am not speaking in broad strokes.
Sure.
As much as I am very tiny strokes that end up being very wide.
All right. Just sit with that one for a minute.
How did this become about me and not Don Rickles?
It's about Don Rickles.
I blame myself
thematically,
100%.
Thematically, it's still about Don Rickles. It's okay.
It is thematically.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah. And it's about me being way too sensitive. I like it. And by the end, I'm 100% on board, even though I'm still uncomfortable with the Native American shit. Like, that'll never not be uncomfortable for me.
That part is...
But again, I think it's less artful than the rest of it. It's more broad.
It is less artful. That's the best way of putting it. And that's why it's uncomfortable.
And that's my only argument, because I think you can do just about any act artfully and make it work. Not with every audience. We're not going to go back there. But I am saying it in general terms, you can do just about anything artfully, et cetera, et cetera.
And I think he does it artfully.
Yeah.
But I don't disagree that part seems to be like beneath what he's been doing.
Yeah.
And then here all of a sudden, hey, it's almost like he goes the other way, like he's adapting to like, I better make sure that 9 people that don't get me laugh at something.
No, that's also a really good point.
Yeah.
Jimmy.
Yeah.
This is going to come out in a few weeks. First of all, tell people why to listen to this album. I was about to do the promo thing. Fuck me. I'm an idiot.
Why listen to it? Because he's a legend.
He's a genius.
And you're listening to... Don't mock my use of the word genius. Don Rickles is a genius. And the fact that you are questioning that makes me question this entire idea of you being in comedy. I'm furious.
I'm barely in comedy. Continue.
All right, well then you can say it. Then you can be skeptical. He's a legend, and this record shows why he's a legend. I mean, he's just, it's wonderful. That's all I can say.
That's fine.
It's wonderful, and it is a time capsule. And, boy, he's quick.
Yeah, that's upsetting. I don't get it. I do improv, and I don't understand how it's that fast.
Yeah. I mean, I do what he does, and I'm listening to this going, boy, that's fast.
Do you remember everything you don't, right? At the end of
what
the
do you
night,
mean by that?
At the end of the night, how much do you recall that
Zero.
you pulled out of your ass?
And it infuriates me.
Really?
Which is why people tell me to record every one of my shows.
You don't record any of them?
No.
Why? There's the reason you don't record. There has to be a reason you don't. If you sound a little regretful, but you still won't do it.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Isn't that something?
Fucking comedians.
I'm an idiot. I'm a misfit idiot. That would be the reason why I don't do that. But I should.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I really hope is that the other comic will go, hey, that's hysterical when you said blah, blah.
Uh-huh.
And I'll go, oh, that's right. And then I'll write that
Then
down.
hold on to that one. Yeah, but that's not the magic of it.
Well, it's also not their job.
Yeah, true.
I also do. You know what it is? I can't listen. I don't want to listen back.
I understand that. Have somebody else do it.
I don't want somebody else to have to go through that.
Okay. All right.
Although, why wouldn't they? The people just enjoyed the show. Why
Absolutely.
wouldn't they enjoy
Why
hearing
wouldn't
it?
they? Yeah.
They buy your CD, idiot. Why wouldn't they want to hear this one?
Mm-hmm.
Listen to this album.
Yeah.
There, I've said it.
Good enough. Jimmy Pardo. A couple weeks is going to come out.
Yes.
What do you have to promote? Where can people find you?
Well, I, of course, have my award-winning podcast, Never Not Funny, that people seem to still be enjoying. We also have a spin-off podcast called Playing Games with Jimmy Pardo.
Super fun.
Which is basically a half-hour, thank you. It's a half-hour version of Never Not Funny as a game show. And I love game shows. I love hosting game shows. I've been lucky enough to do it a couple times on television. I want nothing more in the world to be hosting game shows.
Yeah.
And Matt Belknap and Mike Henry, who produced the show with me, we figured out a way to make my conversational style that is on Never Not Funny, as well as my stand-up, into a format that is digestible in 30 minutes, and that is Playing Games with Jimmy Pardo. And we have great guests like Nikki Glazer and Scott Aukerman and Zach Galifianakis, Christelle Alonso, Lauren Ash, and Rich Sommer. Those are the guests in the first 6 episodes. And I'm proud of it, and I like it, and I hope people dig it.
I'm hoping in this era of streaming shit that you could. I mean, wouldn't it be easier now? Well, you'd think. I'm just saying. Language, if you want it. You got the content. You got. God damn it. Whatever. I'm annoyed. I want to see you on TV as much as you do, probably. So
you'd think it'd be easier.
Just gonna sit back. Twitter, Jimmy Pardo, at Jimmy Pardo on Twitter.
Jimmy Pardo, yeah.
Okay. When's Partcastathon?
Oh, thank you. March will be March the 3rd.
Okay, March 3rd, 2018.
To raise money for Smile Train.
Yes. Raised how much last year? 144,000?
Something like that. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, we dance around the 150 mark more often than not these days. So hopefully we still will next year.
All right. Well, that's about it. Should I promote something? I don't know. Go to stolendress.com/celerysound. That's my little sketch comedy record label that barely exists, but go check it out. And see me in the... Nope, you missed me seeing me in the Lost Boys. There's going to be some Christmas show this month, so come see me on a drinking game at Acme Hollywood. That's about it. Well, Jimmy, thank you for doing the show.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for listening, and as always, have a good thing. Comedy on Vinyl is a production of Stolen Dress Entertainment. It is produced by Mike Warden and is hosted and edited by Jason Klamm. Our theme song was composed and performed by Richard Levinson. Please visit stolendress.com to listen to our other podcasts, read our blogs, read our tweets, watch our videos, and read our books. Please subscribe on iTunes, and if you like us, give us a 5-star rating and a nice review. You can find us on facebook.com/comedyonvinyl, Twitter @comedyonvinyl, and find everything else at comedyonvinyl.com. A major portion of Comedy on Vinyl has been underwritten by Stand Up Records. Please visit standuprecords.com for all your comedy needs and tune into the new Stand Up channel available on the Roku, where you can also find select episodes of this podcast.